What's up, folks? Welcome back to Beyblade Burst. I'm your host, Michael Nightwing, and today we're talking about my favorite Beyblade system, the Heavy Metal System, or HMS for short.
メタルの衝撃が全てを変える。よりヘビー、そしてハードに。ニューベイブレードヘビーメタルシリーズ。ドラグーンメタルストーンアルティメットバージョン。
And honestly, I'm gonna tell you right now, when I was a kid, when it first came out, I hated it. It was a whole change of Beyblade, and I didn't like it. But as I got older, I realized how important HMS really was to the competitive aspect of Beyblade. So let's go down a nice little history trip so we can talk about HMS, why I think it's the best version of Beyblade to ever touch face on this earth. Then we can see what Beyblade X can do to be almost as good, half as good as HMS. Let's get to it. So the original generation of Beyblade is called the plastic generation, but the plastic generation is cut into two different types of Beyblades. You have the actual plastics, and then you have the heavy metal system ones. Now, here's the thing. The original Beyblade came out in like 1999, 2000. I watched it over here in the United States when I was a kid, when I was like 10 or 11, and at the very end of that series was the heavy metal system.
Good news, everyone!
What is it, Chief? What you got?
Oh, nothing. Just a blueprint for a new cutting-edge Beyblade along with its power, spin, and balance specifications.
And looking at the box right here for my Death Gargoyle, it says here, Takara 2004. This is a brand new unboxed Death Gargoyle. I played with another one, but this one stays in the box just because. And I also have here my HMS tri-set. This one also says Takara 2004. Means that in 2004 is when this came out in Japan, and likely 2005 for the United States. Now, I mentioned I wasn't a huge fan of this when it first came out, and mainly because this was just so different from the original Beyblade. Everything about it was different, but that was the cool part. And I didn't appreciate it when I was a kid, but I do appreciate it now. And the biggest thing that made these things different was, one, they were metal. That was cool. But also, they were smaller. So they were smaller, and metal made them more compact, stronger hitters.
Here it is! Our masterpiece! Dragoon Metal Storm!
Dragoon Metal Storm.
That puny thing? It's way smaller than your average Beyblade.
Advanced technology. More power packed into a smaller space.
What really made HMS revolutionary, in my personal opinion, was that every single Beyblade was dual spin. So you know now you have like CRYDEN, right, which is from Burst, and you have the other ones from Metal that I don't know the names of, but those are dual spin, and those dual spin ones were always fan favorites. And what made them a fan favorite? You can use both spin directions in battle, meaning you can really catch your opponent off guard. But with HMS, every Beyblade was dual spin. That unleashed a whole new level of competitive blading that I didn't understand when I was a child. And I wouldn't really unlock the potential and power of HMS until I got back in Beyblading here on this channel. A couple years ago, I hosted Beyblade East, or co-hosted Beyblade East at my gaming loft. And there I live streamed the 2-day event. Now, on day 0, we had an HMS tournament, which is, of course, great for me. Because I had all the HMS Beyblades. And I had Plastic Gen and HMS, and I had Metal. But for me, the best one was always the ones I had when I was a kid. So, in the HMS tournament, I actually got first place, which was amazing. One of my opponents, she said, I don't know how you keep guessing all of my directions. Because it's like rock, paper, scissors, right? She wanted to go opposite spin because she had a stamina type and I was using an attack type. But that wouldn't work out for me. So I had to figure out what she was using before she even did it. And it was like this mind game. Because you had to take the launcher, put it behind your back, and put it in left or right spin, and then show it to your opponent. And you were locked in for that spin direction. And I had to guess every single time what she was going to choose. So if I chose right and she chose right, then I said, okay, well, I need to figure out how she's going to think I'm going left. No, and I'm going to go right. And then I would play back and forth, and every single time I called it right. And every single time I scored a very solid knockout with my Beyblade. That level of competition, that level of mental game is unmatched. Now, of course, they have the 3v3 deck format or the 5v5 deck format they use overseas and here in the States, but this is different because in the deck format, you only deal with maybe 1, maybe 2 opposite spins, if that, really, because left spins weren't as popular as right spins when they created them. But with this, Every single one of your opponent's Beyblades can be exactly what they need to counter you, and that is terrifying. Now, the original plastic generation, those ones were either right spin or left spin, but they had so much customization, you could make a right spin Beyblade into a left spin Beyblade just by changing the spin gear in the middle.
Not able to
I really
equalize as well as Mio, Drago, back again.
Oh! What?
You know, please. It's like rolling on the stadium a little bit. Maybe it can KO itself, please.
Not enough spin for that. Yeah, 3-2, very close match. Nightwing wins.
Alright, so you saw that one. Left spin's doing very well. And here, it had some sketchy spots. Some very sketchy spots there. But it's definitely holding up very well. It's this is bearing, so it's a free spin. Oh, my nails are so dirty. Oh my gosh. So it's a free spin, but I don't know if it spins enough because of the way this ridge is, but it works.
That was amazing. Just for the game, being able to switch things up was so much fun. But then when they introduced the dual spin for HMS, that was revolutionary. And then they never did it again. Okay, well they did, but it was always just kind of like this one Beyblade or these two Beyblades do it and no other ones do it. And I don't understand why they didn't go back to this exciting and amazing core function for Beyblade. Like, can you imagine now with Beyblade X just having the option to choose left spin or right spin no matter what Beyblade you were using? That would change the contact points, making your stamina Beyblade in right spin to a smash attack type in left spin. That was amazing, right? So if you take a look here at my Death Gargoyle, in right spin, it has this great upward slope to send your opponent flying out of the ring. But in left spin, those contact points completely change, making it now more of a smash type. So you have to figure out which direction your Beyblade work best in what situation. You have to master both spin directions with that Beyblade. You have to figure out the launch angle, everything with your Beyblade in both directions. The amount of time you had to put in just to make sure it worked was godly. Now, of course, you do have an option to use Beyblades that were more balanced type, that were the same for the right and same for the left spin when it came to their lair. And those were cool, they were consistent. But for me, I like having that option of switching it up and saying, you know what, in right spin, I need this thing to destroy my opponent, but in left spin, I need to just survive. So for me, I say all this to say, I believe HMS was way ahead of its time, and it should make a comeback. But unfortunately, they're not making any more HMS Beyblades, so we have to just use the ones that you can find on the internet. And they are kind of pricey. I think this set right here was about $400. And I have another set behind me that was $1,000. And this Beyblade is probably somewhere between like 40 and 80 bucks. But it's unfortunate that such an amazing system was introduced to the world so early. And I say to you, if you can get your hands on some old HMS Beyblades, you should definitely try it. If you cannot, I understand, but I want you to think about and envision how amazing this system of Beyblade was for the competitive scene. And hopefully, you all will fall in love with it like I did. Now, if you're interested, I do have pretty much every HMS Beyblade, so I will be uploading battles for them. And I would love your input on what you'd like to see, because this is a very rare and old system that, quite frankly, just was underproduced and underloved. So, thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate you. Please do me a solid favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video. If you can, go home and tell your dad you love him. And I hope to see you on the next video. See ya.